I like to remind people, everyone shouts about women veterans and this and the other. Women veterans are less than 1% of the population of every state within the Union. Less than 1%. In some states, we're not even a half a percentage point because the number of individuals in that state is so high, and there's not a lot of women veterans, right? There's only just over 2 million women veterans in the United States. I've said before, I have an autoimmune disorder. There are more people, there's twice as many people in the United States with my autoimmune disorder than there are women veterans. So the women veterans not being seen or not being visible, yes, it's a challenge that's there because there are not a lot of women veterans. But I suggest you support, the women veterans that are there. So in some of the states where the women veteran is more prevalent are, the five biggest states for women veteran population, Texas, Florida, California are always the big three, followed by Georgia and Virginia. Every now and then, New Jersey or Pennsylvania will spike up in numbers, and they'll be in that top five. But for the most part, it's Texas, California, Florida, Georgia, and Virginia as the top five states. Even within those states, you don't see a lot of representation of women veterans. There is more because of the last 10, 15 years of women veterans really getting more involved. But then that's the other side of the challenge. Women veterans are not very visible because they don't want to get involved. When they separate from service, if they've, 2 of 3 are impacted by military sexual trauma, so how likely are they to come out and want to be involved in society? They're spending, it takes time to heal. It takes some time to heal typically. They are very active, within their own communities, but they choose those communities. I know some women veterans who, volunteer at shelters, and their focus is on animal shelters, and you'd never know they were a veteran unless you just happen to stop and ask them something or they wore something. But women veterans don't wear being a veteran on their sleeve the way our male veterans do. And I always try and encourage women veterans to say, hey, when you're in the conversation and you're leading the conversation, you should lead with and start with, I'm a veteran, the same way our male veterans do. And women veterans, you can talk to them for an hour and you'd never know they were a veteran. Just by chance, they'll say, oh, yeah, well, yeah, I served too. Like, really? But that's a challenge, right? So it just is their approach and also their experience. Sometimes people are very proud because they come from families. I know some women that are, third and fourth generation service members. So they'll say it proudly, but the average woman veteran won't.